Hey guys, it's YOU WACK. First and foremost, I just want to say sorry if my voice sounds a little bit raspy, and some of you guys might even be into raspy voices. I've just been sick lately, so I haven't been on top of my voice, but not sick enough to where I can't bring a video today. Today, what I wanted to talk about was some possible cinematic ideas, because a lot of people have been fondling the idea of something coming up for Blizzcon. Blizzcon, as you guys probably already know, is a convention here to celebrate different IPs from Blizzard, whether it's World of Warcraft, StarCraft, or what we care about is Overwatch. And usually with BlizzCon, it's there to just release a bunch of new stuff for the games. Last BlizzCon, they released Blizzard World, they also released the brand new hero Moira, and they also released a bunch of different skins related to different Blizzard IPs. So you already know something big is going to be happening, and since last year, or just this whole entire year, they haven't really released a lot of cinematics other than just d.va. You know something big is coming up. Well, why not another Overwatch cinematic? And that's what we're doing today. We're just going to be talking about some ideas, some cinematics that would make sense, some cinematics that would just be cool to see, and some cinematics that have been hinted towards a little bit, not really based on like tweets and stuff, but just what we've seen actually in the game. But before we get on to what I think should be a cinematic, comment down below what you want to see in the form of a hero cinematic. And I ain't talking about an origin story, okay? I'm not talking about a little tiny 1-minute video. I'm talking about a full-blown, possibly 10-minute video, just focusing on that hero or heroes. So the first cinematic idea, which I think a lot of people are expecting, which would be an awesome cinematic to see, would be for the homie McCree. And I think the main reason why I think so many people are thinking that he's going to receive one is just because he's seen on the main advertisement for BlizzCon. Now, it could just be a coincidence. They might have just said, yeah, McCree would look really cool right here, but out of all the heroes, not Tracer, not d.va, most common poster childs for Overwatch, they pick McCree to advertise for BlizzCon. That's just a little tiny hit. Again, it might just be a coincidence. Or he could be receiving a cinematic. It's just hopeful thinking at that point. Again, don't come back to this video and say, but you said he would be receiving, okay, I didn't say that. So many people are speculating, but again, he's just on the advertisement in BlizzCon, but again, he's on the advertisement for BlizzCon. But in terms of the cinematic, I think it would be an awesome and really dope cinematic to really see, because you gotta think, you know, some heroes have been seen in other kind of movies, like with Soldier, even Sombra, even Zarya for a little snippet. But McCree really hasn't been seen in anything other than just that archive event, or what was it? It was the Retribution event where that little tiny cinematic played right before you went into the actual game mode. Other than that, we really haven't seen McCree's original story, and that's the biggest thing that I look for whenever seeing the cinematics. We saw that with Reinhardt. We even saw that with Mei. We saw that with, what was another? Kind of d.va, not her original story, but just kind of her original state that she's in right here. Just kind of battling those big giant robots that you normally see in Star Wars or whatnot. With McCree, though, he's been through so much. He was in a gang, and then he was captured by Overwatch, and then he was given 2 choices, whether to die, I think that was one of them, or to join Overwatch. And then, of course, he doesn't want to die because he's McCree. He joined Overwatch, and then he joined Blackwatch. But we don't really necessarily see that. And that would be a dope representation of his story to really just show the timeline of McCree. You're going to see that a lot in the original video that I posted, where I talk about d.va cinematic ideas or Ana/Widow cinematic ideas. You know, just really just leading up to the point that they're at right now. Because you're starting to see that a lot with some of these heroes, besides d.va, with like Mei and Reinhardt being called back into Overwatch. And while McCree really wasn't a part, well, he was a part of Overwatch, he was part of Blackwatch, it would be very interesting to see how that kind of ties in with that recall cinematic. Speaking of Winston and also Hammond, even though he wasn't mentioned at all in this video until now, a cinematic that I think would be perfect, especially with all the events leading up to this moment, would be a Winston and Hammond cinematic. Why? Because Hammond got released, duh. Horizon Lunar Colony also got released too. Okay, those are the 2 only things that really made it perfect leading up to this point, I'm gonna be honest. But you really gotta think, I was sure they would love to make cinematics for a lot of these heroes, but to make a cinematic dedicated to Hammond, not only will that just not interest a lot of people, because I feel like he's one of the most hated heroes right next to Mei. So a lot of people would just kind of think, really? You wasted a cinematic on Hammond, that little gerbil, even though I would love it, when they could have made someone like McCree or Genji or just someone else. So that's why I think it'd be a perfect time to do like a co-cinematic. When looking at these 2 heroes, Hammond and Winston, while they don't have the heaviest ties when compared to like Genji and Hanzo, who are literally brothers, they still have strong enough ties to the point where you can tell a really in-depth story for both of these heroes. Well, we kind of know what happens before, after they both escape Horizon Lunar Colony. We don't really know what happens behind the scenes. Well, now we can finally know the story of how they both became talking animals, or talking scientist because people love to correct me. Oh, well, you always call him a monkey in game, but you say he's not. Okay, it's just a quick call out, guys. I don't literally think he's a monkey because he's not. That's stupid. He's a scientist. Trying to get back on track though, it's a big vocal point for both of these heroes, but we don't necessarily see that, or it doesn't get explained heavily enough to where we can really understand it. We know they were raised in Horizon Lunar Colony, but like, what's the behind the scenes look? That's really what I'm wanting to get at. But the last hero that I think would be perfect to release a cinematic for, especially at BlizzCon, kind of following the same format as the d.va cinematic, would be my girl Sombra. So I know Sombra has received love. She's been in the, what was it, the Break-In cinematic with Reaper and just the Talent Organization and also Zarya. So I know she's already been in one, but what I really want is just to really have one that focuses in on Sombra. It could be in a day in the life of Sombra, just really kind of what she's in the present day, or it could just be the idea that I keep just slapping a dead horse with, and that could be just the original story, how she came about. A lot of people think she's that one girl with Soldier 76 where Soldier kind of saves her from that gang of people, and correct me if I'm wrong, but she's not, right? No, she can't be, because it's been proven that's a different girl. But just to relieve some confusion, now we can finally know the original story, or just how she came about, how she got her hacking powers, and also how she joined Talent. But the main reason why I think it would be perfect to release her cinematic at BlizzCon is because not only was she released at BlizzCon in 2016, but she also just received that new Diablo skin. Even though that has nothing to do with a cinematic probably, it'd just be perfect. This whole thing just somehow ties in to now Sombra, like 2016 BlizzCon, now this new skin, and now the Sombra cinematic. It might just be putting too much attention on Sombra rather than other heroes like Symmetra or Torbjorn, but hey, we're trying to please everybody. I think a lot of people would like that Sombra movie. At the end of the day, I think we would all just like to see more lore or just more cinematics. I know I keep saying that word, cinematic, and I'm kind of getting annoyed that I've been saying it so much, but what I'm trying to say here is that these heroes, I'm not saying is more worthy, but I think people would just like to see a little bit more than just say someone like Orisa or someone like Brigitte even, you know what I'm trying to say? So that's why I think McCree, Winston / Hammond, and Sombra would be perfect for BlizzCon, including some other heroes that I talked about before. Go check out my other video where I talked about cinematic ideas. But anyway, guys, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch videos to come, and bye.